Hi guys, welcome to the PROCESIO Community Meetup for December. It's our last community meetup this year, so we're really happy that we've gone through a lot of important steps this year, which have allowed us to bring the platform where we are today. And so we're just going to have an informal discussion today, just to chat about a few use cases, discuss what's important on the platform, any new updates we've seen since we've last met, and also what's on the roadmap for next year, since that next year is going to be a big one for us. We're looking for some really cool upgrades on the platform, including webhooks, on-prem deployments, just to mention a couple of them. Yeah, so these are just a few of the things that I think we can discuss about today. So I've actually included also a little agenda here. Besides this, we wanted to demo a complex condition builder. It's a new feature on the platform, which Andrei is gonna cover. And we have an integration with Ryver. Ryver app is an internal team communication tool, which many teams can use for communicating with different departments. You can create forums, you can create teams, you can send individual messages, direct messages. And so we've built an integration to automatically send notifications in certain channels or on certain topics in Ryver. That's one of the features that they offer as well, to create topics. So that's a really cool one if you want to create like an integration where you automatically notify some members in your team or in another team about updates, about new features, or whatever kind of message you may want to transmit, so that you don't have to do it manually. So that's about the Ryver integration. We'll see it in a second on the platform, and then we'll just discuss about the features. But Andrei, I'll just leave it up to you now if you want to take over the screen share to show us the complex condition builder, right? That's the first one we'd like to start with.
Yes, definitely. First, I would also like to mention that today we have two special guests joining. So we invited Marian and Mihai in order to join and address your questions and address also probably the vision of 2022. But let's start. And I have to start by telling you that my screen sharing is disabled. So would you be able to enable me,
All right.
me to share my screen?
Yeah. I'm going to make you host.
Perfect. Let me know once we are ready.
Make host.
Okay, I see I became host, so I'm trying to share. All right, I think we are here, and I hope you guys can see my screen. As Julian mentioned, we have a new feature which we call complex condition builder, but it's actually the well-known decisional. We came up with an improvement that brings complex logic to what you were able to do previously. Just as a refresher, I want you to show the comparison. Like, this is how the complex conditional builder looks like now and how it used to look before. So I guess we can all spot from the very beginning a difference over here. What we aim to be able to do with the complex condition builder, it's namely to allow you to add logic to the processes that you are building, logic in terms of conditions. So as you can see, we are giving you the possibility to group, ungroup, delete groups, introducing subgroups, and obviously these groups you can link via operators and therefore build complex logic in taking decisions or on the path of the flow. Additionally, obviously, all the groups can be named, so that's pretty straightforward. You can also drag and drop in order to revert changes. You can delete condition by condition and so forth. One more thing that I would like to mention is the fact that we also brought up new conditions. Initially we only had the normal condition equal does not do equals, but we came up with a list of new conditions. Just give me a second. I want to show you these conditions. So these are the new conditions we introduce: contains, does not, contains, belong. All this you will be able to find documented on in our knowledge base articles, and also how conditions can be what each type of conditions supports, each type of data type that conditions support. So all this stuff is something that you will be able to check out in the documentation. Now, here, what I'm looking to show you is that the complex condition works, and I predefined some of these conditions. Namely, I have a lot of variables, which I defined in the process, and we are testing if they are null, or I'm testing also if 5 is between 1 and 9. And I'm testing a lot of different type of variables within the complex condition builder, and if all the conditions are met, successfully met, are validated, then we are going to receive an email. So that's the point of this this exercise. So let's try it. Save process, run it, all the conditions. Let's check. So yes, all the conditions were met. In this case, I set it up for all the conditions to be met. And hopefully I also received my email. Let me quickly check. Ta-da-da-da. Yes, you can see here is a test success. It's at 6:08 p.m., which is actually what I set up in my email to tell me if all these conditions that we were testing over here are met. So over here, what I'm trying to emphasize is the fact that you can build complex logic using different conditions, grouping them, and so forth. That's the main point. Moving on, I would like to also demonstrate to you guys, one of our use cases that we prepared. It's also simple. We simplify things in order to be able to use exercises. Not sure if you heard about Ryver, but Ryver is one of our internal tools that we use for internal communication. And what I'm going to showcase to you is an integration with Ryver. Namely, we want to create tasks and assign them to different people within the organization. And once we assign this task, we want this task to be assigned in Ryver. So this is Ryver, and this is the channel I'm using. So over here I have tasks. As you can see at the moment, I don't have any tasks in Ryver. And the process, what actually does is the following. I have here a get file a file that contains all the tasks that we are going to post in Ryver. You have to imagine it doesn't need to be get file data. You don't need to get your task from get file data. You can get your task from a CRM. You can get the task from an ERP, from wherever, from a third-party application. You can get these tasks, and once you obtain these tasks via an API endpoint, you can post them in Ryver. And I don't think we are limited to Ryver. Ryver is the use case that I'm showcasing to you right now. But you can probably use other communication channels in order to post tasks to them. So once we obtain
can I ask something?
Sure.
So if I had like a case, if I want to send a message, like let's say that I'm a salesperson in a company, and then I want to notify somebody in marketing about the lead. I could send that from my CRM to their to Ryver, where I can find my teammates. I can send them a message automatically. Let's say if a lead is created in my CRM.
Yes, you could do that. Potentially, you could do that, and this is actually what you will see. I'm just going to do this in a few minutes.
Okay.
So this is definitely possible. So let's take the tasks from the file. As mentioned, it doesn't need to. The files don't need to be contained in a file. They can be things contained in a CRM or somewhere else. I'm gonna hit run, and I'm gonna bring back Ryver. Let's check instances. I think things are popping up pretty fast. But over here, you can see already tasks popped up. I think these are the tasks that popped up. So I already have some new task created, which is task 2. It was assigned to, and so forth. This is the use case that I wanted to show you related to Ryver. A quick mention is the fact that you have to imagine this task again in a more complex way. That's one point. The other point is we have on the roadmap webhooks. We always were mentioning webhooks. Imagine now having an event happening somewhere in a third-party application, like creating a Jira task, and you want to make upper management aware that the Jira task that was created is critical or something like that. Via webhooks, when the event is triggered in Jira, you can notify all the persons that need to be notified in your communication channel. In this case, being Ryver, let's say it could be Microsoft Teams or whatever other Slack or whatever other communication channel that that has API endpoints. This is the use case. I'm not sure if you have any other further questions related to this.
Yeah, me again.
Go again.
How can you maybe show a bit the data model used here and how you set up?
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, definitely I can show you. So for instance, as Julian mentioned, we are using a data model for the for matching what's contained in the file. And as you will be able to see when I open the file, all these columns are actually my column headers from here. So this is how I'm doing this. And in order to do this in PROCESIO, you will have to create a data model. In our case, it's Ryver task file model. Let me quickly try to show you. If I go here in data model, and I'm Ryver task. This is my data model, and my data model, as you will be able to see, matches fully my Excel list. So I have a assignee, then I have board ID, body, and all the columns. I'm not going to go one by one, but this is how you have to prepare in order to match data from the file to the process via data models. And this is the process that I was showcasing.
So what if I was working with a CRM? Like if I want to...
If you're working, yeah, go again.
If I want to map that data from a CRM, how do you do that?
Yes, you would, let's say you will receive a JSON response from the CRM, and you have to know all the key values that are contained in the JSON response, and for each key value, you are going to create an attribute in your data model. Mm-hmm. And when the response comes, the response is being mapped to the data model, and then we can obtain the information that is needed and use further the information within the process.
Got it.
All right, perfect. Then I would say let's have a quick, one more thing that I wanted to showcase, and I'm here in PROCESIO. Obviously, as you know, we are bringing new platform actions day by day. We have 2 new platform actions, JSON mapper and JSON extractor, very useful for extracting JSONs. I'm not going to go into them. But what I wanted to actually mention to you is the fact that we have a new folder over here, which we call beta. And over here, we are going to post actions that are that were developed by us, were also preliminary tested, and that we want our customers to actually urge our customers to also use, try out, and give us feedback on them. And at a later stage, when we feel like these actions are appropriate and fully ready, obviously these actions will be included in the platform actions. As of now, they will be of beta because we are still looking to develop in them, but we urge you to give us feedback and also to let us know if you consider a new action that might be needed. Probably at the very first stage, we will list it in beta, and then we will bring it up under platform actions. All right. Then let's move on to the roadmap. As mentioned, always we are bringing new platform actions. Um, really important webhooks. I think in all community meetings that we had so far, I was mentioning webhooks.
It's
If
a
I'm
big one.
not wrong. Yeah, it's a big one. It's a big one. We are almost there, and we are getting it done, and we are getting it done probably before the year end. It's being cooked in the oven for quite long. We are almost there. For us, user experience was of utmost importance, and therefore we had to reconsider some stuff, but it's coming. And as mentioned, imagine the use case that I presented to you earlier with Ryver and being triggered by a webhook in a third-party application event. So that's also really important. A new feature on our roadmap is the custom credential. This is something that we aim to have in Q1 2022. Let's say you are missing a credential type and currently we are not supporting it. How about building it yourself? Because we are going to give you the possibility to build your own custom credential within PROCESIO. So this is what this feature is about. Additionally, another important feature that we aim to have in Q1 22 is the document designer. Probably you never before heard about this one. The purpose of the document designer is to design and generate dynamic documents by using processes and process variables and all the power behind PROCESIO. So I think this will obviously address probably 70% of use cases, or I don't know, a lot of use cases, I would say. And finally, also aiming for Q1, as we have some requests, we are looking to enable PROCESIO for on-premise solutions. So that's also a big one. We are working hard also to obtain that. In terms of what I was willing to present today, I think this was it. But as mentioned at the very beginning, we also invited two guests, namely Mihai and Marian, the founder and the CEO. So let's also, I'm not sure if there are questions for me. Otherwise, I would say let's proceed and shoot questions towards them.
Thank you, Andrei. Happy to be here. Let's hear some questions from your side.
All right. So I'm not sure if there are other questions, if other questions were posted in the channel.
I have one.
Go ahead.
I have one about this document designer because I actually was working on a use case with creating documents from templates. I've just published it on the site now. So what I'm writing in that use case is that you can basically, if you have, I think it's exactly this, right? If you're creating document, if you're working with, I don't know, a set of data or different sets of data from different databases, then you can create like PDFs, Word documents, maybe. I'm not sure about the kind of output. That was my question. Like what kind of documents can you generate or will you be able to generate?
Yes, now this is still in the cooking as mentioned, but you will be able to generate PDFs and probably some other different formats that we will be thinking to support. And besides this, I think the main or unique selling point is that these documents, you are going to be able to generate them dynamically. So what this means is the fact that, let's say, you have different data coming from a CRM and that data changes via variables and so on. And let's say you have an invoice and every few minutes you have a new invoice with a new number. So you will be able to automatically generate these new invoices and also not only generate them, but let's say you also want to send them once it's generated and so forth. So this is what we are aiming to achieve with the document designer.
Really awesome.
And I'm not sure if Marian or Mihai wants to add something related to this because they also know that this document designer is being cooked by the development team.
And then you pretty summed it up. Basically, with document designer, you'll be able to create templates that you can document templates that you can use dynamically in your processes to generate other documents like contracts and other type of documents But this is a really powerful capability that we've been cooking. So can't wait to launch it and to see it tested by you and to provide feedback for sure.
Yeah. Thanks, Mihai. Sounds Marian, sorry. Sounds
Yes,
sounds good.
Marian, no worries.
Yeah, I know. All right, then I would have a question for the two of you guys. It doesn't mean that you both have to answer it. One of you can definitely answer it. Or let's say I'm gonna have a double question. What was the biggest challenge of 2021, and what do you envision for 2022 for Procesio, obviously?
Mihail, let's do it like a double. You start with 2021. I will say also my opinion. Let's make it like a double answer, right?
Cool. So first of all, thank you guys for inviting me. This is my first community participation. Hopefully you will invite me at the next editions as well.
Depends on your answers, Mihail.
Yeah, I will. So just invite me and I will come. To the point to your question, the biggest challenge for 2021, I think, was deciding and focusing on the core capabilities of the platform. And the reason for this was challenging is that we had a lot of things that we wanted to implement. We created a very big roadmap with a lot of functionalities, a lot of things that we know users would love and we know that companies will need. But we needed to focus on the key ones that would bring the most value to the user. And that was the biggest challenge for us, for Procesio, for the team, for everybody.
And it was a challenge because we didn't want just to guess what to use. And we spent a lot of time understanding, discussing with our clients, partners, users, consultants, people that do this type of job, and understanding and figuring out what we should choose, because it was hard for us. It was like, hey, it's our baby. How can we strip it down like this? But we wanted to do it properly and understand what should be done, and we focused and decided that we add an integration platform as a service, and we should cover at least for 2021 and also part of 2022 the backend side of software development, the integration part, software integration part of software development, the automation, workflow automation, and data processing, right?
Definitely so. And by the way, we are almost to having webhooks. It's almost there, and we're gonna have it before the end of the year.
Yeah,
Okay.
wait for it. And for 2022, I think it's really important for us, and we will focus on awareness and exposing what we are doing right here, building partnership, commercial partnership, but also technological partnership and partnership with other communities and building a community, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
and to add on what Marian said, we are going to focus on taking Procesio to users, taking Procesio to showcase its true capabilities, the capabilities that were a challenge for us this year, right? Now we can showcase, now we can bring value to companies, and that would be our core focus and our core challenge for 2022.
Yeah, I can only agree to that. So definitely so, and looking forward to 2022, especially knowing that we have more and more use cases that Procesio can cover. So yeah, it's gonna be probably also challenging, but also a rewarding year. Let's put it like that.
Yes, it will.
Just to add on what you said, Andrei, and what me and Marian said earlier, just to have an idea of how we think of things in Procesio, how we design Procesio. Our core focus is to think of such an experience in which the user is not limited by our capability. So we need to design the capability of PROCESIO in such a way that the user is as less tied by what we have built as possible. So he needs to have the functionality in such a way that he can build himself the things that currently are not present in PROCESIO. And that will also be one of our key focus for 2022.
Mihai, and that is why we have been building the custom action capability for that we are also using to build PROCESIO with PROCESIO, and it was our core capability since the beginning. So we stick to the mindset and this strategic approach to not tie users and customers to what we have.
Yeah, and that's why we're also bringing custom credential, and that's
exactly
precisely the
lot of custom things.
Exactly, it's on the screen. Just what I wanted to mention. Yeah, we have the custom action. We're bringing the custom credential. What other custom? We are bringing also document designer, which will enable you to customize documents. So yeah, probably we will give a lot of freedom, as you mentioned, to our customers in order to build, or if they are missing any functionality, to build it their own and upload it in PROCESIO and have it ready to use for their company.
Actually, to adapt, one moment, actually to adapt PROCESIO to their context. So one key word for 2022 will be adaptability.
Yeah, and another key word that I wanted to add is, you know, Andrei, everybody is going like democratizing this, democratizing that. We're actually democratizing software development, right? This is
right.
what. So democratizing.
Yeah, nice. That sounds good.
Another keyword, right?
Right, Julian. Any other questions from your side?
I always have many questions, you know. But no, actually, maybe about this on-prem deployments that you can take the platform on-prem. So, like, how is that going to work?
Yeah, actually, it's about let's say better and faster and easier on-prem deployment.
Mm-hmm.
Mihai, if you want to add up on this, would be great.
Yeah, I want to add because it's also related to what we just spoke, the things that we found out this year. We found out this year that there are a lot of companies that need on-premise deployment. And that's why we put that on the roadmap, and that's why we're going to focus on that, because as we want to have things as easy as possible to do, we also want to be on-prem as easy as possible to be, right?
Exactly.
That's the idea.
Definitely
Yeah.
so.
So I do, because I know some companies are worried about security, you know, handling sensitive data. I think those companies would pretty well fit the kind of
For the on-premise solution, I know what you mean.
profile. Yeah, you know.
Yeah, exactly. That's the right profile for the on-premise solution. And yes, there are still, although everything looks to be cloud-based in the future, there are still companies that want to have their own servers and deploy separately, and not only deploy separately, as mentioned, have security, especially like if you think about the army or something like that, they will never go to the cloud probably.
Yeah, who knows? But the idea is that they can even have their own cloud, right? And
yeah, that's true.
On-prem for us is not actually necessary to be on-prem. It can be in other environments than our own. So that's the idea. So on-prem for us basically means that we can deploy on clients' environments, regardless where those environments are. Either they are on-prem or they are in their own cloud, in another cloud environment, or even if they want to have in our own environment, but completely separate from all our existing infrastructure.
Mm-hmm. Sounds good. This sounds to me like a not the on-premise solution, but the other one that you mentioned sounds like a hosted solution in another cloud provider or something like that.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right, I think we are also going over time, and I know that
Yeah.
Marian told me from the very beginning that he has a hard stop at 30 past. So I'm not sure if there is a final question. Otherwise,
I can
let's what?
have time for one more question if there is. If there is not, then let's wrap it up.
Okay. So thanks everybody. I'm not sure, Julian, your the last words. I give to you the last words of this meeting.
Yeah, Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year for coming up. Okay, I guess.
Okay, thanks everyone. See you at I think it's gonna be in January next time we are going to meet. So see you then.
Cool. Ciao. See you next time.
Happy
Bye
New
bye.
Year, guys. Bye.